Today, we read diving into one of the most documented and mysterious events of the 20th century, the miracle of the sun at Fatima, Portugal. This isn't just an old religious tale. It's a historical event witnessed by tens of thousands of people from all walks of life, and it continues to baffle scientists and historians to this day. So, let's set the scene. The year is 1917. Europe is in the throes of World War I, and a sense of anxiety hangs heavy in the air. In a small rural town called Fatima, three young shepherd children, Lucia dos Santos and her cousins, Francisco and Jacinta Marto, begin reporting apparitions of the Virgin Mary. From May to September, they claim she appeared to them on the 13th of each month, sharing messages of peace and prayer. As you can imagine, this caused quite a stir. The children were interrogated, mocked, and even briefly imprisoned. The local authorities and many church officials were highly skeptical, but the children never wavered in their story. They insisted the lady had promised a great miracle on October 13th, so that all might believe. Word spread like wildfire. The promise of a public, verifiable miracle was a bold claim, and it drew an immense crowd. On that fateful day, October 13th, 1917, an estimated 70,000 people gathered in the Cova da Iria, the field where the apparitions took place. And this wasn't just a crowd of devout believers. It was a diverse mix of people: curious onlookers, fervent pilgrims, cynical journalists, scientists, professors, and staunch atheists who came specifically to debunk the whole affair. The weather was miserable. It had been raining relentlessly all morning. The fields were a muddy mess, and everyone was soaked to the bone, huddled under umbrellas against the cold, persistent downpour. The children arrived around noon, and Lucia asked the crowd to close their umbrellas and pray. A little while later, she cried out, "Look at the sun." And that's when it happened. According to countless eyewitness accounts, the heavy rain stopped abruptly. The thick clouds parted, and the sun appeared in the sky, but it was unlike anything anyone had ever seen. It looked like a spinning silver disk, not dazzlingly bright, but something you could look at directly without hurting your eyes. Then it began to dance. Witnesses from all corners of the crowd described the same thing. The sun started to spin violently on its axis, like a giant wheel of fire. It cast brilliant, multicolored beams of light across the landscape, painting the clouds, the trees, and the faces of the terrified crowd in shades of yellow, blue, violet, and red. Imagine seeing the entire world around you bathed in these surreal, shifting colors. Avelino de Almeida, the editor-in-chief of Lisbon's major anti-clerical newspaper, O Século, was there to write a scathing report. He fully expected to expose the event as a fraud. Instead, this is what he wrote. Before the astonished eyes of the crowd, ... The sun trembled, made sudden incredible movements outside all cosmic laws. The sun danced according to the typical expression of the people. He went on to describe how the sun seemed to whirl upon itself in a mad whirl. This wasn't a man prone to religious fantasy. He was a hardened skeptic. And he wasn't alone. Dr. Jose Maria de Almeida Garrett, a professor of natural sciences from the University of Coimbra, was also present. He later testified the sun's disk did not remain immobile. This was not the sparkling of a celestial body, for it spun round on itself in a mad whirl ... It seemed to me to be a wheel of fire. After a few minutes of this spectacular, terrifying dance, the event took an even more dramatic turn. The sun appeared to break free from its place in the sky and plummet toward the earth. It grew larger and hotter as it zigzagged downwards, and the crowd was overcome with sheer terror. People screamed, cried, and fell to their knees in the mud, convinced the end of the world was upon them. Many confessed their sins aloud, believing they were about to die. One man was reported as saying, "We are all going to die," while his wife tried to shield their children. Then, just as suddenly as it began, the sun returned to its normal position in the sky. The chaos subsided, replaced by a stunned silence, then joyous cries and prayers of thanks. The entire event lasted about 10 minutes, but the miracles weren't over. As people slowly got to their feet, they realized something incredible. Their clothes, which had been completely drenched by the morning's heavy rain, were now perfectly dry. The muddy ground, which had been a quagmire moments before, was also dry. It was as if the intense heat from the dancing sun had evaporated all the moisture in an instant. Now, you might be thinking, okay, this sounds like mass hysteria. A huge crowd, high emotions, people saw what they wanted to see. That's a valid and scientific first thought. But there are some major problems with that explanation. First, the sheer number and diversity of witnesses. We're talking about 70,000 people. Getting that many individuals to hallucinate the exact same complex sequence of events, the spinning, the colors, the plunge towards Earth, is statistically next to impossible. And remember, this included people who were there specifically to prove it was all a hoax. Second, and perhaps most compellingly, the miracle wasn't just seen by the people in the Cova da Iria. It was witnessed by people miles away who had no idea what was supposed to be happening in Fatima that day. There are credible reports from people up to 25 miles away who saw the sun's strange behavior. For example, the poet Afonso Lopes Vieira saw the phenomenon from his home nearly 25 miles away. In the town of Albaritel, an entire village of people witnessed the event and described it in the same detail as those at the main site. This completely rules out the theory of localized mass hysteria. You can't have mass hysteria among people who aren't even part of the mass. Third, there's the physical evidence. The instantly dried clothes and ground. This is a tangible physical effect that can't be explained by a psychological phenomenon. How do you explain thousands of people soaking wet clothes becoming bone dry in a matter of minutes without any conventional source of heat? The sun was back to its normal, distant self. So what do the skeptics say? Some have proposed rare meteorological phenomena, like a sundog or a dust cloud in the stratosphere. But none of these explanations account for all the reported facts. A sundog doesn't spin or plummet toward the Earth. A dust cloud wouldn't be visible over such a wide area and wouldn't explain the rapid drying of the ground and clothes. No astronomical observatory in the world reported any solar anomaly or unusual activity on that day. From a scientific perspective, the sun simply did not and cannot do what 70,000 people saw it do. This leaves us in a fascinating position. We have an event with tens of thousands of eyewitnesses, including skeptics and scientists. We have corroborating accounts from people miles away. We have reports of physical effects that defy easy explanation. And we have the written testimony of journalists who went there expecting a joke but left reporting it a cosmic phenomenon impossible to deny. The Catholic Church conducted a thorough 7-year investigation into the events at Fatima. They interviewed countless witnesses and scrutinized every piece of evidence. In 1930, they officially declared the events worthy of belief, confirming the supernatural character of the apparitions and the miracle of the sun. But you don't have to be a person of faith to be intrigued by this story. The miracle of the sun stands as a historical puzzle. It's a moment where a vast number of people all reported seeing something that, according to our understanding of physics and astronomy, is utterly impossible. It challenges our perception of reality itself. Was it a divine sign? A meticulously orchestrated miracle to validate the children's message? Was it a highly advanced, unknown natural phenomenon that we still can't explain? Or could it have been something else entirely? Something beyond our current comprehension? The Fatima event is more than just a religious story. It's a profound historical mystery. It forces us to confront the limits of our own knowledge and to ask, what really happened on that rainy day in Portugal over a century ago? The witnesses from that day are long gone, but their incredible, consistent testimony remains. They saw something that changed their lives forever. Whether you see it as a message from heaven, an unexplained natural event, or something else, the miracle of the sun at Fatima remains one of the most compelling and well-documented supernatural events in modern history. It is a story that invites us to look up at the sky and wonder what might be possible. What do you think happened? Let me know your theories and thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective on this incredible event. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into one of history's greatest mysteries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. See you next time.